Hare Krishna, my name is Ishwar Das. Today we'll be discussing the topic of why so much suffering in this world. Now, first thing first, we have to understand. Since we asked the question as to why there is so much suffering, the point we have to understand: am I this body? Aham mameti. Am I this body that is the recipient of this suffering? Am I this body? Are you this body? Listen, you ask yourself the same question as I'm asking this question, and you do the same thing that I'm doing. Am I this body? If I am this body, why when I'm sleeping, I am forgetful of this body? If I am this body, I should not be forgetful of this body at any point in time. Even if this body is sleeping, and I am this body, I should be conscious of this body. But unfortunately, when I am sleeping, I'm forgetful of this body. And I maybe, in some cases, in most cases, enter into a dream-like state. In this dream-like state, I forgot the body. And I think of myself as being something else. And in the state of this something else, I also experience the same emotions that this body experiences. That is happiness and distress. And so, whatever form they take, fear, anger, hate, love, whatever emotions they take, in the dream state, I forget the body and I exist with these same emotions, but in a different dimension. So now, if you look carefully, you will want to know how it is the same emotions is there when I am awake and I am conscious of the body, and now I'm sleeping, I'm forgetful of the body, but the same emotions are there. How is this possible? Generally, we don't take the time to understand this principle. And these emotions, so what you will recognize is that just like the emotions of fear, when I am in this body, it comes about due to the interaction of so many unfortunate situations. But the same emotion of fear in the dream exists, but I don't remember the body. So, what is going on? Then, again, when I'm awake, I'm forgetful of that dream state. So what is going on? When I'm sleeping, I'm forgetful of the body, and when I'm awake, I'm forgetful of that dreamlike state. And then there's a third state that we're going to talk about. That state is a deep sleep state. In a deep sleep state, I'm forgetful of the body, I'm forgetful of the dreamlike state, and I'm totally unconscious. But although I'm totally unconscious, I can recognize nothing, whether gross or subtle, whether dreamlike or whether the physical body, I can recognize nothing. Nevertheless, when I come out of this state, I know that I was in that state. I know that I was in a deep sleep state. I know that nothing went on in that state. So how it is that I'm conscious about nothing going on? It's like how it is that I'm conscious, like with the body, when the body is, we are in external consciousness, but we are in a dark room. When we come out of that dark room, we know that we were in a dark room. So similarly, how it is the same consciousness prevail in this deep sleep state, unconscious state. So, therefore we can understand that if consciousness prevail in the deep sleep state, consciousness prevail in the dreamlike state that I can recognize myself as being about whatever it is, and I can recognize fear, these different emotions. And consciousness exists when I am in an external state. Therefore, I know that I am this body and whatever is going on around me. Therefore, I am not the body. I am not what I experience in the dreamlike state. And I am not what I experience in the deep sleep state. So what am I? I am an eternal spirit soul that expresses itself in the form of consciousness in these three dimensions. In the external state, in the dreamlike state, and in the deep sleep state. So now, since we have established this point that we are not the body, we are the soul that expresses itself in the form of consciousness, Krishna explained, just as the one sun illuminates this entire creation in the form of light and heat, so similarly the consciousness of the soul illuminates this body. So we are the soul that illuminates in the form of consciousness, in the awake state, the dreamlike state, and in the deep sleep state. So since we are the soul, we are not the body, how it is that we are suffering? Try to understand. Why are you suffering? You're suffering because you think that you are this body. If you understand that you're not this body, at the same time, try to understand this principle in a realistic way. That is, saying this does not give one the right to go about slaying another living being. No, that's not the point. Don't misunderstand the point. Because if you think that since I know that I'm not this body, it gives me the right to slay another body, it means at the same time you are completely dull. You don't understand this point at all. So my point, the point we're explaining here from the Vedic literature is that we are not this body. This body is just, as Krishna explained, it is just like a vehicle. And the soul is just like the driver within this vehicle. So this body, we identify with this vehicle, that is this body, and therefore whatever is being inflicted upon this body, we think that we are suffering. But in reality, this suffering should be a good thing. That is, the suffering should motivate us to try to understand our real nature as an eternal spirit soul and try to enter into that realm that constitutes our real nature as a spirit soul. That is, if we are a spiritual being, then we should be in a spiritual atmosphere, not a material atmosphere. So we are in the wrong place. And because we're in the wrong place, we're having problems. It's like you have on the wrong glasses, the wrong type of glasses. Then you will have problems with your eyes. You can't see things properly. So, because we're trying to perceive happiness through this body, which is the wrong instrument, then we're having problem. So, try to understand this point. You're not this body, you're spirit soul. And if you identify with this body, that is the source of your problem. It is the material world, Krishna explained, by nature is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It's temporary and miserable. So, if this world is temporary and miserable, it is only miserable for those who think that they are the body. But for those who understand that they are a spiritual being, it automatically, they are able to do what in the midst of all this situation? They are able to tolerate. They know it's a miserable world, so they tolerate. Hare Krishna.